Appalachian sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain laurel high fives for miles in spring. Rainbow trout and a hummingbird wing. Golden, I'll follow.
Good morning and welcome to a Homespun house. My name is Molly and I am the owner of a homespun house. I'm here today to share with you all of the fun things that I have been knitting these past 2 weeks. I also have a super tasty cup of coffee here. This is from Staircase Ceramics, her mug, not the coffee. And I love her mugs. I have such a collection of her mugs because I love them so much. So let's talk first about the sweater that I'm wearing. I can't remember the name of it, so it's going to be linked below. It is in our Blackberry Jam colorway. That's that gorgeous deep purple. Quite sultry, if I do say so myself. And then all of that gorgeous speckling, which is probably difficult to see just in the color work here and the fact that I'm so far away. My little doggie, Polly, is trying to join me. She's a little chihuahua. Super sweet. But you can't sit here. You're too distracting because you're so cute. Is our unicorn dust colorway. We might have a few skeins of that in the shop, but it's something that I usually dye up just for the summer. It's one of my favorites. So, yes, it's super cozy. We have a very autumnal day today, which autumn is my favorite season ever, but I'm really, really enjoying the summer and I don't want autumn to creep in earlier than it needs to. We have a bungalow or a summer house and we pretty much stay there for the 6 weeks that the girls have summer break. I have 2 girls. They are almost 13 and 9. And here in Germany, the children have 6 weeks of school break. I know I'm actually American and we have a really long summer break in comparison to here in Germany. But here in Germany, we have so many wonderful holidays just throughout the year. For example, we'll be going to Turkey. We have 2 weeks in October, autumn holidays, where the children have school and it's a nice amount of time. So we always go to Turkey during that time. It's one of our absolute favorite holidays. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, but I'm very much enjoying summer. I'm going to kick this episode off with a pair of socks that I'm knitting. They are quite autumnal. And I really love them. So this is our Harvest Festival sock set. We have it on plump merino, soft sock, and our gold stellina bases. You have your choice of whether you want our fresh sheets colorway or a deep, dark, ashy color. So I'm knitting it with our cream base here. It comes with 6 minis. And I decided to stripe them. So I did 4 stripes, 2 stripes, 4 stripes, 2 stripes, 4 stripes, 2 stripes, 4 stripes. And this is giving me enough to knit 4 pair of socks. I don't have the pair knit with ash to show, but I will be working on that once these are finished. So I'm knitting it out of our plump merino base, and I just think these are so much fun. So this is the first one. And this is the second. Just knitting these the same. Stockinette. I have a lot of yarn left. I've already knit quite a bit. This is my 3rd sock. The minis set is definitely enough for 4 pair of socks. I think I might even have some extra. I mean, I hope I have some extra. I don't want to be playing yarn chicken. So I just like to keep this in one of these baskets. We used to sell them in the shop 4 or 5 years ago, and I saved a bunch for myself. This just kind of sits somewhere, looks pretty with my knitting in it. It's easy to grab. And I knit this the last time we were at our bungalow because socks are perfect for working when you're at the water. I've finished a lot of socks while we're talking about socks. I have a few autumn colorways coming into the shop and I'm very excited about them. This first one is our It Feels Like Fall colorway. And I designed this pattern myself. I knit it using our MCN fingering weight base, so merino cashmere nylon. And these socks are so scrumptious. They are so soft, luxurious, and this is a really special pair of socks to put on my feet. I definitely will be knitting more cashmere socks in my future. Not fully cashmere, as those would probably felt like crazy, and I think they probably would get holes in them quite quickly. So that's really nice that this has a 20% cashmere, 70% merino, and 10% nylon. So they're still really durable. Robert's mom has a pair that she wears all the time and she's had no problems with them. So this is a design I just kind of made up as I went along. I did a knit 1, purl 1, 60 stitches, 2.25 millimeter needle. Or was I still using a 2 millimeter needle at this time? I think I was using a 2 millimeter needle, but I know that doesn't even matter. I don't even know why I mentioned the needle size of my socks, as we all kind of have our perfect needle size that we use. But I've gone up to a 2.25 just because my gauge has gotten really tight. And I think I could even start going up to a 2.5 now, which is crazy to me. That's a massive needle size for socks. I think so anyway. So I did knit 1, purl 1, then I did a purl ridge, then I knit 3 rounds, and then I think I knit 4, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 4, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, knit 2 together, yarn over, continue on and continue on. So you have to have a number that is divisible by 6 in order to do that. So these were a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I pretty much always do my socks with a heel flap and gusset. Oh, one thing that I want to mention, if you're going to just write down the pattern that I said and knit a pair of socks with it. So I started it with that purl ridge, and then I ended it right before the heel with the purl ridge. I think that just has a really beautiful look to it. And then right before I did my toe, I had a purl ridge. And I think it looks really finished, very professional and gorgeous. So I love these. I think I will be gifting these actually to Elodie's teacher for Christmas. I knit her a pair of socks 2 years ago. We were just at a picnic for the school some weeks ago, and she mentioned to me how special those socks are to her. Just so sweet. The next 2 pairs that I'm going to show are our Happy Birthday Dumbledore and our Happy Birthday Ginny Weasley. I love the way these 2 socks paired. I know I talked about Ginny's last time because I remember saying how much this colorway just screamed Ginny Weasley. And I still feel that way after finishing the socks. So here is the first one, knit 1, purl 1, size 2.25 millimeter needles. I did quite a long leg, which I have been doing for these socks. Heel flap and gusset, and just standard toe, and I love these so much. So here's Ginny's. Here is Dumbledore. Robert mentioned the other day how whenever I'm very excited, I kind of sing about something. And I do. So this is Dumbledore's. It's the same exact thing. All of these socks are the same thing. So when you purchase this, you have your choice of whether you just want the 100-gram skein or if you would like a 20-gram contrasting yarn for the sock set. And Ginny's came with this beautiful, not poppy, but peachy, salmon, strawberry red, if you can kind of imagine all those colors together. or orange, not red. Beautiful. And Dumbledore's came with this very, very poppy, vibrant, extreme looking purple, which I just think fits Dumbledore so much. Whenever I think of him, I think of purple or magenta, just very vibrant but rich looking color for Dumbledore. So this is his sock, and we currently have in the shop some really exciting characters. We have Molly, and she's just so patchworky and autumnal colorways, while still being colorful as well. And then we have Hermione Granger, who's our bookish, smarty pants, amazing friend. I'm very excited about those colorways. Those are going to be a lot of fun to dye up, which my husband Robert is the one who dyes all of the Harry Potter colorways. I formulate and come up with all of the colors, but that's his club that he dyes, which I'm very, very grateful for. We'll be dyeing those up soon. I think Hermione ships the end of September, and Molly ships, I can't remember, mid-October, I think. So you still have a little bit of time to grab those if you want. And then we have a really fun sock set that is also new to the shop. It feels like fall, and Monster Mash, which is the sock set, they're not currently in the shop. We have been spending our entire summer and these last weeks designing, coding an entirely new website. Our first website that we have is very beginner, and we really want to make something a little bit more professional. So Robert has been spending so much time coding and creating this website for us. So I've been doing some details and things to it, but it's pretty much Robert's work. These will all be launched with the new website. So this is our Monster Mash sock set. I decided to knit mine in DK weight yarn. We have this beautiful Flida color, very lilac, periwinkle, pretty. And then again, same color as my pullover. We have Blackberry Jam. So you'll get these two minis in whatever weight base you decide. And then we have the Monster Mash colorway. I'm so happy again with how this color turned out. I feel like it really jumps out at you with the bright greens and those really poppy, peachy tones. I love this color so much. I think it would look great in a pullover. No frills. It could also be a lovely contrast here for the color work along with Blackberry Jam. I think that would look really pretty. So that's all the socks. Those are my socks that I've been working on and finishing these last 2 weeks. If you haven't noticed, I am always knitting on socks every free moment I get. The next thing that I have finished is a pair of mittens. I really went on a mitten knitting streak last year. I saw Laura of Penrose Knits knitting all of these mittens. This is the Vienna set by Petite Knits. And it comes along with this gorgeous knitting pattern along with a scarf. I won't be knitting the scarf, but I did knit every single one of our Fourth Sunday of Advent sock sets into socks, and then I used the remainder of the yarn for mittens. I was very inspired by Laura of Penrose Knits. She knit a bunch of these for her children's teachers and I think friends maybe, I don't remember. And I just thought they sounded like so much fun. They're very simple. They have a stockinette rolled hem on the wrist or forearm. I knit mine longer than the pattern calls for. Let me just put one of these on so you can kind of see how they fit. So it's a really long arm per the way that I knit it, because I really wanted these to slide up my sleeve, keep my wrist warm if we're going hiking in the mountains, which we love to do in the winter holidays, which we have here in Germany, another 2 weeks off in February. And yeah, so this is a really long stockinette arm. Then you have some gusset shaping here for the thumb, super simple finger knitting, and then just a few decreases with a Kitchener stitch here at the top. So they're very easy and very, very quick to knit up. I knit it using a fingering weight yarn. I knit it using our Most Wonderful Time kit, which we do have kits for this in the shop currently. And I love this pattern so much. I can definitely see knitting more. Maybe I'll do the same thing with my 4 Sundays of Advent yarns, knit a pair of socks, and then knit them into Vienna mitts, because as I mentioned, it's kind of like sock knitting, where it's just a lot of stockinette, a little bit of gusset shaping, more stockinette, and then a little shaping. So it's like the leg, the heel, the foot, and then you have your little toe. Does that make sense to any of you? So a lot of fun. And I love adding mohair to everything. The next thing that I have been knitting is my Oslo hat. I did finish the first one. Yes, I've cast on a second. So I knit this using 2 fingering weight yarns, which is what the pattern calls for. You can purchase a pattern with mohair, but I really love this version. This is now the 5th one that I've knit, and I knit it a tad shorter than the pattern calls for. I think I might have knit it 2 or 3 centimeters shorter. I knit the 2nd size, and I used our merino cashmere base fully for this hat. It's the first Oslo hat I've knit using our merino fingering base. The other hats I used non-superwash yarn, and this is so much more drapey. I knit it using our gumdrop colorway and our Double Dare colorway held double. I used scraps of leftover yarn from previous projects, and that always feels so good. So I think this one is for me. I'm not exactly sure. The second Oslo hat that I've cast on is also knit using scraps. I'm using our Poppy colorway, and I'm using our merino cashmere yarn here. And then I'm using our soft sock base here. I don't have 2 leftovers of it in the same base, so I have mixed bases, and it's interesting how just those 2 bases mixed gives such a different look and feel. It feels very, very different. It definitely has more structure, and I'm very curious to see the drape of this once it's finished. So I've knit the double brim. It will be folded at some point again to have a triple brim there. And now I'm just knitting up on the hat until I get to the decreases. So really enjoying this pattern. It's definitely very simple knitting, which is what I've been doing these last 2 weeks, as you can see. Now I'll talk about what's behind me, and that is my sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So I have finished the body. I've blocked the body, and it's way too big. I'm not happy with the size of this pullover at all. It's way too large. It's so oversized that I don't enjoy it, and I really love this yarn. I think I'm going to rip the entire thing out and knit a smaller size. I'm knitting the size 3 right now, and I think I'm going to go down to a size 1. That was what I originally cast on, and I should have kept to it. So that is a huge, I'm a bit let down by that. I was very excited to cast this on, and I really, really enjoyed knitting this sweater, but it didn't work out for me. We have a new base coming to the shop, and it is a merino cashmere silk. It's merino with 20 or 30% cashmere and I believe 10% silk. It has a gorgeous ply to it, and I dyed this up using our Gumdrop colorway, which is one of the colors that I mixed for this hat. And I also dyed up, a skein of our mohair silk. And I'm going to be knitting a sweater by, you guessed it, Petite Knit, one of my favorite knitwear designers. I've knit so many of her designs, and I'm really excited about it. I've already bought the pattern. I'm just waiting to cast it on because I've been knitting up all of our Patreon minis, monthly minis. Just finished these 4 monthly minis, and I'm putting currently this monthly mini into my blanket. We do monthly minis every month. They ship the first of the month. So right now we have September's in the shop. It's going to ship September 1st. So I told myself I will not cast on my new sweater until I finish all of my mini skeins for my Cozy Memories blanket. I think I've done 20 since we've last seen each other. And this is my blanket. It's so much fun to knit on. And I think right now it's 11 by 10. All using a Homespun House yarns. Are you guys knitting one? Do you love knitting on it? This is definitely my favorite. This is my favorite blanket. But you know what? I kind of say that about every blanket I'm working on when I really get into a rhythm of working on it. But at this moment in time, these last 2 weeks, this one right here is my favorite. However, I'm almost finished with this square, so that means that I will be able to cast on my sweater soon. And I am really looking forward to that. We are almost all finished dyeing up all of our advents, which is very exciting. Advents as in our big advent where there's 24 minis and a sock set. That's no longer in the shop, but we do have our 4 Sundays of Advent, which I talked about earlier, and that will be closing this week. I'm going to start dyeing it up. I'm so excited. I already have all of the colorways in my head, which I don't often do. Usually I plan colorways when I go down into the studio, and they're very spontaneous. But because this is for Sundays, I kind of want them to go together. I want them to look really nice. So I don't want it to be extremely spontaneous. So that's what I'll be spending my week doing, along with getting our new web shop up. But first things first, tomorrow we'll be taking a day off. We'll be heading to the bungalow. It's supposed to be one of the last hot, sunny days. And I'm really looking forward to laying at the water all day and knitting, which reminds me, I need to find some yarn to cast on a new pair of socks because those Harvest Festival socks are going to be done very soon. So maybe I'll be looking for something this afternoon and caking something up and casting on tonight. I don't know. We'll see. I hope you all have had a lovely 2 weeks and have something to look forward to today and the next weeks. Are able to take some time for yourself, relax, and drink lots of hot coffee, hot tea, tasty drinks, whatever you love. And I will see you all in a little while.